Hey, you are now entering the world of sound, body, and mind as you enter the Backwoods Brothers, a place where all your questions will be answered. So we thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate you. We're here at the Backwoods Brothers. I'm guesting tonight for Tony Longdrew. I'm really excited about this.
And I'm Joel, and welcome to the show again for another week on Backwoods Brothers. You keep saying Backwoods Brothers.
Well, you know, I feel like we're kind of backwoods here. So
yeah, we are backwoods, not backwards. We gotta be a little backwards. I don't know. Right. I mean, my wife tells me I'm backwards all the time.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
If you guys might see, we actually are taking a new approach. We have microphones in front of us tonight versus the ones that are usually up top. Yes, and I'm hoping that this actually gives us a much better approach to being able to hear us, and specifically me. I'm always told I'm so quiet, and
that's just not true.
I'm a very loud person.
Very loud.
We actually had a one of our viewers actually who recognized Tony, and I told him, "Hey, you got to find a way to get that Joel louder." And so this was our solution to invest a little more into some microphones.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yes, I got to be much louder. So. Anyways, we have Sean Drink Wine here, and we want to make a special declaration specifically that tonight's comments and tonight's information does in no way represent the city of Estacada or does not represent the city council.
That is true, yes. I want to make sure that's understood at the beginning of this because there's a lot of things we're going to be talking tonight about. I mean, coming up on Veterans Day, which is a very important day for all of us. We want to talk about the people, past and present, who have protected our freedoms. And I think freedom is the key word here that we want to get out. We want to talk about the things, the changes that are happening around us. I mean, you all know, you've seen it, you've heard it, all the news channels and everywhere else about how the world is becoming something that's almost unrecognizable to us. And I'd like to talk about that tonight. So I want us to kind of jump into this. And we hope you're all listening. We hope you all, are happy with this particular subject. I know that there's a lot of controversy out there as to what's right, what's wrong, and what's really going on. So I'm going to jump right into this. Recently, we had a workshop put on by Clackamas County. And the gentleman came out who was in charge of planning and land use. Now, I've been through this before. I've heard this a few times, but I just thought it was something that you all should hear because I think this is a very important subject. When he came into this meeting, the first comment out of his mouth was that Portland and Metro are coming and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what you need to learn right off the bat before we even get into planning. And that just, I don't know about you.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. That was like, that from that point forward, anything out of came out of his mouth was complete shit.
Oh yeah.
So
it's really hard to listen after that point.
Well, exactly, and I mean, I want to point out this is also the person who came from Damascus. That's no longer a city, but yet they were sending him out here to speak to us about how we should be working on our planning and stuff. His planning and everything led to them no longer being a city, is what I see it as.
Exactly, and I think the case that I'm trying to make here is. At the end of the day, we don't have to accept anything. We are all free people, citizens of this America. We are talking about Veterans Day being tomorrow. All these people who fought for our freedom to give us this right to decide, to go out there and choose what we want to do with our cities and our homes and our everyday life. So for somebody to come in and tell us as government people that we are supposed to just lay down and let all of this, pardon the expression, crap be put on us it's ridiculous and absurd.
Well, I want to be very clear. We have a saying out here. It says, don't Portland our Estacada. Right. We are not Portland. We are not Metro. Right. We aren't even in the 50-year growth boundary of Metro.
That's right.
They came out and gave a talk to the council here and said, and that question was asked, well, where's the growth boundary? And they said the growth boundary, you guys aren't even in the 50-year. You guys may not even be in the 100-year growth boundary. So don't tell us that Portland and Metro is coming out here and we just need to jump on board because Estacada is its own people. Estacada has its own way about it. And that's something that we need to fight and protect.
We love our families and we love our way of life, and we protect that highly. And when I hear people come in here and try to tell us what we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to act, and like I said, coming on Veterans Day, it really just got to me. I said, you know what? I asked Joel and Tony, I said, can I sit down on your show? I've got to talk about this.
Well, hold on. No, I think it says I'm going to hog tie you and throw you in a corner and take over your show. I think it's what the original.
I used a little more expressive terms, but all in all, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. I've represented the people for a while now here, and they put a lot of faith in me to do that. And I wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring this subject to a head right here and now on this forum, because I think this show really stands for American value.
Exactly. We fought and we always argue. It's about protecting our constitutional rights, whether that be federal or state constitutional rights, protecting the freedom of the people and the freedom to carry that out. Whether you're on the left, the right, and the center, it doesn't matter. Those protections and those rights are still there for you, and that we as the Backwoods Brothers stand for those rights, and that's where we want to make sure that we hold that position, because somebody's got to be speaking out and holding the line.
That's exactly it.
Well, there's lots of shows out there that talk about, like, you got Ben Shapiro and you've got Candace Owens and you got the Hodge twins. They talk a lot about the bigger issues, and we talk about the big issues too on a constant basis. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that we're not forgetting that there are local issues. Now, we're talking about Estacada ourselves here about our local issues tonight, but at the same time, there's probably 100 other towns or 1,000 other towns across this, not just our state, but across this area that are probably suffering from the same type of issues.
Oh, I think they are.
Of larger communities trying to encroach on them and to take away that individuality that they have.
Well, that's a great point, and all those points you just made are great. Another issue, I sit on the C4 committee for Clackamas County, and I've been given a seat for it, but I'm not sure why they gave me a seat, because I sit up there with Malala and Sandy, but we're out of the metro. We have no rights at the table. We can't, if money's handed down, we're the last to receive any, if any at all. But yet we're expected to follow Metro's policy and the state's policy and everything down the line, and just be okay with that. I didn't become the mayor of Estacada because I wanted a career or I wanted to make sure that my 401k was padded. I got into it because I love people. I love people. I love their everyday life, their family life, what makes them who they are, freedom. So that's why I got into this. So protecting that has always been my first and utmost goal. So the reason I wanted to take over the show tonight in a nice way is to get that out there, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the people. I want to hear what you want. I want you to write into the show. Tell us what you're looking for in your city, because it matters to me. It matters to Joel.
Exactly. Yeah. We want to know what's on your mind, what you're concerned about, and to get that voice out there. Because the biggest thing that we point out is we can sit on the council all day long and talk about whatever issue is there. We could talk and we can do our best to represent the people. But if we don't have the backing of the people, if we don't have the people stepping up, speaking out, and taking action, that absolutely means nothing. Whether that action be attending council meetings, speaking out and joining the whatever events are out there from the city, to participate in surveys, to writing into the councilors and sharing your thoughts, or getting out and voting. When there's a vote, take the option to do it, because otherwise, stop bitching if you're not going to take action.
Yeah.
Freedom is not something that's handed away to somebody. Freedom is something that has to be earned and protected. Now, granted, there are people, like, for the military fights for that freedom for those who can't.
Yeah.
There are people that they aren't always able to get out there, but you still got to take action and protect what you got in front of you. Otherwise, it's going to go away.
Yeah. And I think it's not a matter of protecting. We've always protected our freedom. We just forgot how important it was. You know what I'm saying? You get complacent after a while. You've had all these freedoms your whole life, and all of a sudden they start disappearing, and we just haven't paid attention. It's not a matter of whether we believe that we have the freedom. It's a matter of whether we protected it enough. And I think we've just all sat back and just taken it for granted that we have it. And now there are people and facets and groups out there that are wanting to take that freedom, piece by piece, to where there's nothing left. And, I just can't bear to sit back and take that anymore. And as a public official, I'm willing to go out on programs like this one and other ones and express that. So, what are we going to do? Are we going to step up? Are we going to be the kind of people that we always have been and protect our families and our homes and our way of life? I think we are. I think it's just starting. I think if you look around you, there's people that are speaking out now. I mean, you just saw the Virginia vote come in. They changed the whole political system there.
Oh, exactly. They flipped it. They flipped it. Exactly. And that's the thing is there is still power in vote, and especially with everything that's been going on so much with all the voting system. There's so many eyes on the voting system now. When something is out of place, people are noticing it. So there's not going to be voter fraud or potential voter fraud of that concern. Probably won't be around in these next few years because people are watching it so closely. So get out there and vote. Now's your chance to make that difference.
That's right.
We do have a couple of comments from some viewers already, and I'd like to read one of them real quick. I'm going to summarize this a little bit, but this is talking back when they were building the house on Reagan Hill. People were upset and worried about the septic system and the cost and stuff involved there, and they were told that the builders pay basically the SDCs, the cost, and that they should cover the septic system, and they want to know where that money is now.
Well, the SDCs stay in the fund. So the sewer fund still has all the SDCs that have been put into it. So whatever SDCs were put in over those years for each place that was built goes into that SDCs and stays there until we use it. So to give you an example, we have to build a new sewer system in the next 5 years. It's going to be a very expensive proposition. We're looking for ways to cut that cost so that taxpayers aren't footing the bill on this, because believe me, we've paid into the system over the years. So all that money is in there now. Now, mind you, a sewer system is quite expensive. We're talking millions and millions of dollars. And hopefully with the new bill that was passed, the infrastructure bill, that will cover some of that, because that is infrastructure that we're talking about here, and take some of the pressure off the taxpayers. That would be my hope. Can I guarantee that? No, I can't. But what I can say is I'm hoping that will be a part of it. I hope that answers your question on SDCs.
Yeah, definitely. And the key thing is some of those SDCs, for example, like the city may have to put in some new sewer lines to go up on the roads and stuff. Yeah. Those SDCs that they paid may have gone to put those new sewer lines in too. That's so right. There are some more immediate, smaller items, but there are money that, like you said, sits there for those other bigger projects.
Yeah, and we never separate. We never take one SDC from another fund and move it to another one. That is not legal. You can't do that. That fund always stays there for that particular item.
And you can find most of this information. It's all public knowledge, and all of the budgets and everything are posted up on the city website. So if you want to see where money's going and how it's been moved around, you can go pull down the city budgets for the last however long, and you can see where the monies have gone and what the budget is for the year and what's been approved by the budget committee.
Sure.
So there's another comment on here. It says, like all new housing being built up in Welch's, why? It's not going to be affordable, so it doesn't help the community. Well, I know that's not specifically positioned at Estacada, but that might be something up there in Welch's that might help the Welch's community.
It might be. And you have to understand, we have an urban growth boundary, and we have a set amount of space to build in. Now, mind you, we're not asking for an extension like some areas are to bump out their urban growth boundary so they can build more. But we can't say no to people who want to come in and build now in the areas that we have open to build in. So it's a real fine line here. How do we slow that down? We're looking at different answers to that. Obviously, we don't want to see our city end up so stack packed. It looks like, well, I'm going to use an example, but I hope Stan will not get mad at me. But Sandy, for instance, you get down there and your properties are so close together, you can reach out your neighbor's window and shake his hand. I mean, that's just a little too close for my
How about townhomes where you share a wall?
Oh, that's scary. That's scary. So, obviously we're looking at that in the bigger picture. We want to make sure that we space this out over time. And I think if you look around, the housing market is starting to slow down a little bit. So I'm hoping that gives us some time to catch up and get things under control.
I've had some chance to speak with some of the real estate agents out there and stuff. And the way the housing market usually goes, if you actually look at it, usually has a 10 to 12 year trend where it kind of goes up. It brings up to a peak and comes back down and drops, goes back around. This one is kind of overdue for that trend. Yep. So we're kind of hitting that, but at the same time, that the demand is still there, but it is starting to curve, and they're seeing a slowing in the housing sales. And we're also going into winter, so you'll see a slow there as well. I think we're probably going to see one more big rush next year during the summer.
Possibly.
Then I think
Early
that bubble's
spring,
gonna
summer, yeah.
I think that bubble's gonna burst after that, and that's just my take on it. No, I'm not an expert or anything in that area.
Neither am I.
And you want to get there's expert answers, talk to the experts, such as a realtor or a broker. But that's just kind of what I've been hearing from them, and what I've been seeing in the trend. And so I have a feeling that our building is going to start slowing down, because those builders usually try to keep their finger on the pulse of that, and so that's kind of what I think they're going to start seeing, and they're going to start slowing it down a little bit themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
But
it's nice having Joel here because he's pretty knowledgeable of this kind of stuff. I love that. It backs me up 100%.
I want it to slow down. I believe that we are growing way too fast. And like, for example, Portland PSU, Portland State University,
Yeah.
Portland State University estimated we'd be growing at a 5% rate, and we would double our city size in by 2041 or something like
And
that.
you're growing at a 12%
We're
rate,
growing at a 12% rate,
which is
on
unheard
average.
of.
Yes, and so you can't. It is true. You can't sustain that. Well, I think Estacada is a very desirable place to live, and we will continue to grow. I think eventually that's going to curb down a little bit.
Well, I think
maybe
in some sense we can almost blame ourselves for that. If you remember the fires and everything, I think people got wind of how wonderful Estacada was at taking care of their people. And I think we did such a good job that we ended up getting more people wanting to move out here. But that said, Estacada is a place where we need to protect this way of life. There's a lot of infrastructure things we have to look at, too. If you look around, it's not just the sewer plant that we're looking at. I mean, it's the school system. We've got pods outside now because we're getting so much new students into our area.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's the younger families are moving in. They're buying single family homes. That's the desire here. And that's why we're having such a big rush, because that's what people want to come out for.
That's right. Right.
So,
and I think police services are another big one.
That's definitely police services, and I can't go into any detail because we can't discuss it outside of the city council. But there's some stuff that I do have on some plans to try to help us with that we'll be just hopefully discussing at the next city council meeting.
Okay.
So.
Well, and the show is really, like I said, we steered it towards freedom. So we'd like to hear from you out there. So if you get a chance, write into us here. Kind of give us some questions or some things that you're concerned about that we might be able to help with as far as freedom goes, because that's really what we're looking at here. Yeah. And that's why I pretty much hijacked the show. So let's go to that. Let's see what else we got up here.
So another comment just came in, says we all need to vote. I thought it was very sad that the Estacada mayor didn't get the 4-year term. I attribute the lack of yes votes was due to people not voting. It was an off-year election, November 2021, so no votes prevailed, and our mayor will have a 2-year term from now on. The current Estacada mayor tendered 1520 yes votes, November 2020. People in the city love their mayor. Yes, I will say that's a boost for your head. Don't get too big. We have a big garage door to take your head out of, but if it's too big,
I appreciate the comment. I think it really drives it home. As far as I was a little hurt at first, but then I got to thinking. I don't mind the fight every 2 years. I do it no matter what, because I believe in this city as a whole. It's never going to change, whether I have to do it in 4 or 2. So I appreciate the great comment, but I will always be there for Estacada, and that won't change no matter what happened. This is an off election. It was really hard to say what happened, or if it was purposefully or not purposefully. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to continue to do what I've always done.
I believe we only had about 800 votes or so, if I remember. If you look at the results,
yeah,
that's like I think about half of the voting population that we had during the on-year votes.
Yeah.
And so, while we knew there'd be a lower voting turnout, I think that's the key thing, is that a lot of people that do vote normally on the on-years, which is every other year. This was, I think that's why we saw such a lower response. But it is what it is. We could speculate all day long. The vote's gone through, and so can't do much about that.
That's right. We can't. But putting that aside, this isn't about me. This is about you and freedom. So let's get questions that kind of go towards that. Let's talk about all the things that you're concerned with out there right now. The next one on here, we got what's sad is all the sad is all the housing coming up, but our schools are crumbling everywhere. Well, I'd have to say the schools have come a long ways. I don't know if you've had a chance to visit our schools lately, but I have to say the atmosphere in our schools and the way that Ryan Carpenter is dealing with the growth is looking up. It's looking up. It's come a long way. They've done a lot of work. I can't get on them 100% because I know that it's really hard to take in that many students that quick and be able to accommodate. Now, mind you, our schools are old, and I think we're going to have to be looking at that again here before too long. And we're going to have to make some decisions because we like the fact that our kids are being taught here and that we're keeping critical race theory out of it.
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah. So far, that was kicked out pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to point out a couple things. The school does need a bond to grow and to change. Yeah. That's gonna come. We know it's going to come. Yeah. But one of the things they don't need is be stuffing it in a bunch of extra fat into there. That is a federal government move. That's a state government move. We don't need it here at the local level. The school needs to look at what is the minimal things right now that we need in order to get the problem fixed, get our students into school. Whether if it's building a new school, then that's understandable. But if it comes down to where they need to expand out the school, remodel a piece of it or whatever, make sure that you're only putting things in the bond that actually need to happen. Don't be putting new fields in there and things like that. We don't need new fields. Our field works just fine. Yeah. I've been there. We don't need to be making convenience moves because that's taxpayer dollars. Sure. We need to make sure that we're fixing heating and cooling issues, fixing roof issues, expanding schools to at least have kids inside the schools.
And making sure they have the stuff that they need to learn with.
Exactly.
I mean, computers and other items that they might need to get a better education. I mean, those are the focus points.
I think some cases our school board and I don't want to say, I'm not going to say bad things about some of our administrators there, but I think in some cases they are out of touch with what the educated reality is. For example, when they pulled the metals program away, that was probably one of the worst, and I'm going to say the stupidest moves I've seen in a long time. We are a trade city. We have people. We have farmers out here. We have loggers out here. We have people that get their hands. We have welders. Everything else. All those people get their hands on stuff. We even have welding companies right here in Estacada, and so that should be one of those programs that they should have put emphasis over, even over top of computers. They should have put an emphasis on the trades, and instead they go, no, we're going to take the metals program away, and we're going to keep stuff like, I believe they kept like home ec type programs, and they kept the computers programs and stuff where, yeah, there's a portion of students that need that, but we are a higher trades position out here. There's more, and if you saw that by the massive turnout of people that were pissed when that went away, and then to make it even worse, that was right before they asked for a school bond. And they put all this extra fat and junk, and I understand there's two different things in there. Mm-hmm. But they went to the people and said, well, if you can come up with $110,000 or $100,000 a year, or a couple $100,000 a year, it's a pretty high number. Well, we'll bring it back. But yeah, we're going to go and ask you to put a new field in and to make some convenient stuff.
I agree. The trades were a big mistake. I think we need to bring the trades back. I think they're very important to our way of life here. And if you look at our light industrial park, most of the jobs are independent contractors who deal in trades. I mean, straight and simple. And, not every kid's going to end up going to college. I know we'd all love our children to go to college. I get that. But we have to give them alternatives. And I think trades was that alternative. They could get out of school learning something that they could be good at. And that's what we should be focusing at the end of the day. But that said, I mean, we've got a long ways to go, and I'm sure it's going to be coming back to the people. So we'll see what we can do about that.
Well, exactly. And this is like a good example when people need to be standing up right now, letting the school board know what they want. Like, for example, they want the metals program back. They need to demand that they get it back. They need to tell them, hey, you want a bond to fix stuff in the schools, then you need to listen to what we're trying to tell you. And we're telling you that we want our trades program back. We want X, we want Y. Right. They need to be out there demanding and saying, if you're not going to listen to what we're telling you, then you're not going to get what you want, and that's a bond.
Yeah.
So now, granted,
I agree totally.
We mentioned a little bit about the sewer plant, and we all know that I don't think honestly that's going to come unscathed. I think there's going to be a little bit on the people, but hopefully, like you mentioned, some of the things will come out there.
Take some of that out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that the school needs to consider that as well. That there's probably going to be a cost to the people for that. And there's probably going to be a cost of people for the school stuff. So,
and I'm hoping the people get to weigh in on that.
Exactly. The more community input is important. That's why I'm constantly shouting from the councils to bring people come in and talk to us. Get in here and talk to us. So let's see what we got. Some more comments coming in. Let's see. We had to back up a
Oh,
ways.
by the way, Let's Go Rangers is on here.
Yes.
I'm all about that.
Wait,
I can't
what
wait
about-
for Friday.
what about-
in Sandy?
What about Let's Go Brandon?
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yes, but Rangers are our key thing. But at the same time, we also got Let's Go Brandon.
That's right.
So I would, you know what would make my day? Is that
Hold up the camera really good because they can't see it.
I don't know if you
Other one.
this one,
No, the other one.
that one.
No,
our producer's telling us where to go with it.
Here, I'll try it.
There you go. That's probably better.
Yeah. Tilt it up a little bit.
Oh, you cannot see it. Okay.
Maybe tilt it down. I don't know.
Oh, we will have this on our website later. And it's a bumper sticker for Let's Go Brandon.
It says Brandon on it.
It does say Brandon
It
on. You
does
can
say.
see it much easier in person. And it sounds like my phone's ringing in the background. Oh well, fun times, live shows. But so yeah, the Rangers. You know, what would be awesome if we heard a "Let's Go Brandon" chant at the Rangers game.
Oh, geez, wouldn't that be the greatest? Huh?
Yes.
Obviously, you know where we're coming from out here, but
Yes. Can we get an Estacada police force? Technically, we have the contract that is technically our police force. There has been conversations in the council. I can't go into depth on those, but if you'd like to know more, you can watch the council meetings. And I highly recommend. I can't talk about what I'm going to be speaking about and things at the next council meeting because that's a conflict here. But I highly recommend that people are concerned about that. Please join the next city council meeting, which is going to be in a couple weeks from now. I've put some things on the agenda. Hopefully that should come out of that. So I can't go much more into it because I don't want to.
what's the next one on there?
So-
It's, talking
of freedom. Talking of freedom.
Yeah, how can we preserve gun rights in this state? They always want to compromise, but which is the last?
When is the last
Yeah, when is the
time?
last time the pro-gun advocates got increased rights?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
When's the last time that they said, "Hey guys, we're going to give you more rights for the pro gun rather than take more and more away or try to find more and more ways to restrict it"? I want to point out there about 80%. It might even be 90%. It's been a while since I checked the stats. Between 80 and 90% of the crimes committed with guns are by guns that were obtained illegally through black market trades or were stolen. Putting more and more gun restrictions on legal gun owners isn't doing anything to help the problem. It's actually perpetuating the issue. What they need to do
absolutely right.
is they need, like, for example, when Portland took away their gun violence team, the gun violence went from went up like 1,800% in like a month.
Yep.
And so the thing is, they need to, instead of taking it those gun rights from the legal citizens, they need to get task force and people that are focusing and laws that are focusing on the illegal gun sales, the illegal gun attainment, and get them focusing on stopping those black market trades. That's how you really are going to curb a lot of the gun violence out there.
That's true. That's true. And that's, at the end of all this, I think what he just said is we need police. So let's remember that. That's part of our freedom.
Yes. This one says we need our own police back. I've been hearing that a lot more lately, especially with all the crime coming up. So I'm all for trade schools is another comment that's come out. What about the agricultural program? Bring that back. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea.
It fits well with what's going on here. I mean, heck, we got tree farms all up and down and agriculture all up and down Springwater Road and Hayden Road.
Sure.
I mean, that's just that way. Out that way, you got a whole bunch more heading towards George and that area. Agriculture is everywhere out here. This is a big area for agriculture.
That's right,
So
it is.
having a program out there and getting rid of that was also probably one of the dumber moves that they've made.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they need. Yeah.
All right.
So, hey guys, we actually have we're at the time we're right up against a break here. So, we are going to come back. We have lots more comments to read, and we will get to those. And we have a lot more to talk about afterward as well.
Yes, we do.
Focusing on our freedoms and the local issues here in Estacada and other small towns in the area. So please continue to send them in over the break. Take a minute, watch the and see our sponsors as well, which is Hitch and Post, Whitney Signs.
Yeah.
Those are some of our sponsors. And we will see you here in about 5 minutes. Thanks, guys.
All right.
everybody, I'm Brandy with Backwoods Wives, and this is a Backwoods Minute. The moments you think you can't are opportunities to prove that you can. When you see something that's in your way that's telling you you can't do it, look for a way that you can do it. A good example in my life would be with my illness. I have lupus, which is a pretty severe illness. It could mean a lot of things. It could be fatal. I've been told my whole life I can't do things. When I was a kid, they told me I would never make it to my teenage years. Once I made it to my teenage years, they told me I wouldn't make it out of my teenage years without being in a wheelchair permanently. As an adult, I was told that I'm lucky to be alive, I'm lucky to be walking. I'm still walking with a cane, but I'm still walking. I found ways to show the world that even though you're telling me I can't do this, I'm going to show you that I can. A lot of people would say that somebody in my position and my condition wouldn't be able to do work, which I don't work in a job that pays me, but I am a president of a nonprofit organization. I work every day. I've found ways to take what I'm told I can't do and turn it into I'm going to show you that I can. And I think that's something super cool that I've been able to do because I had the right support system in my life. I had God as my foundation, who's always been there to be my cheerleader, basically. And I found the right people to surround myself with, people that will support me in everything I do. They cheer me on, and they don't wrap my life in negative. They wrap my life in positive. And the more positivity you have around you, the more love you have around you, the more you can do. If you think of your world as a big obstacle, then it's going to be a big obstacle. If you think of your world as open doors, then there will be open doors. It's all about what you perceive it as and what you're going to look at it as. And that's, I think, the most important thing is that you can change your world with your perception of it. You can change how you react to things. And that's that. Thanks for taking a minute. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, welcome back to another great episode of the Backwoods Brothers. Wow! Now they can hear.
Twister.
Now they can hear me. They can actually hear all my mess ups.
Yeah.
We are here with Sean Drinkwine, a local business owner, and also yes, he is our mayor of Estacada, but he is here as not here as a mayor tonight. He is here as another citizen, and so all views tonight expressed by him or me do not represent the city and do not represent the city council. So I want to be very clear about that and everything. Good. So,
well, we're having a great time so far. Some of your questions have been really good. I love this. As you're asking the questions I would hope you would ask, you know, the things that concern our little city and are important right now. So what else have we got on the list here?
And I clicked back and it went backwards. So yeah, we're going to jump right back into our comments from our guests because they seem to be really interesting. We got a lot of them in here, so we're going to kind of let them drive the show a little bit tonight.
Sure.
So we need to stop growth and focus on infrastructure, then discuss real healthy growth.
And that's a very true statement.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree totally.
Estacada is amazing, but we need to preserve the small town feel. I couldn't agree more. That's one of the reasons why I'm out here is because I love the small town feel. I want to be able to walk up and down Broadway with my family, or in this case, drive because my wife doesn't really walk so well. But I want to be able to go into the small shops and things. And like, for example, when we had the Halloween spooky walk, people loved the area so much. We had 1,200 people.
That really took it home. I got to say, that many people coming down to an event that was not really announced that much. I mean, we talked about it, but we didn't really put it out there. But it had such a large turnout. And to see families and people safe walking down our street, enjoying that evening with their kids and their families. I mean, to me, that's what it's really all about. That's what Estacade has really always been about.
Yeah, go do that in Portland.
Yeah, go do that. In fact, I think we had Portland here. I talked to a lot of people. We had Hillsborough here, Portland, Sandy, Molalla, Tualatin, and Troutdale. I know the people I talked to.
Yeah. Also, there were some Clackamas people, from what I understand, and I know we definitely got like Colton and those guys as well.
Right.
So I think when we totaled together, we had like 12 different cities that came out here.
It was quite nice to see.
And then they while they were out here, I think they also ventured up to some of the other things going on. There was another trunk or treat going on in town, and I think there was something called the what was it again? The trot, the trick or trot. That's what it was. The trick or trot. And so it really kind of helped to kind of show some of the different things we have out there.
Dodger told us there was 119 medals handed out on that.
Oh yeah, there was a whole bunch handed out.
That was a huge amount.
So they're looking forward to that next year too, and I think we're looking forward to the Spooky Walk next year.
Yeah.
And that same group which put it on, which is Estacada Community Watch, they put the Spooky Walk on. They're also doing something for Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. So I think we'll post something on the show later about that for them. So
that'd be great. I think that'd be a smart idea.
So let's see what else we got coming down. We need to stop group. I think I already read that. Let's see. Maybe we need to walk through on access in town, increase true access and not perceived access from the able-bodied. So I think that's a great, honestly.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we'll see a lot of communication online, but when it comes to actually showing up to a meeting or coming out there and presenting yourself,
big participation. I agree.
And it's usually the same people that I see showing up.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to get out there too, is that if you want to see change and you have something to say, show up, show yourself in person, because things put out online are dismissed with like air.
And I think right now, remember I said freedom.
It's about freedom.
We really have to step up our game.
Exactly. Like I said, freedom does need to be protected. Freedom doesn't just there because it's there. It is protected and it's maintained and it's fought for. And so sometimes that fighting is simply speaking up and showing that the numbers are there to represent what you want. Otherwise, if you don't, someone else is going to fill that gap and they're going to put what they want there instead.
It's like that garden you have at your home. You water, feed it, and you nurture it for it to grow. That's our freedom is like that.
But if you don't, then you're going to get the rabbits and they're eating. Exactly. They're going to eat your garden.
That's right. So pardon the garden analogy, but we are a place that a lot of people garden, so I figured I'd go with that one.
I think he's taking a shot at if anyone knows where I live and you've driven by my house and you've seen my yard, it is definitely
Joel does not garden, by the way.
There was a day once I was all into it, but man, that's so much work and I have so much on my plate that it's just like, well, I think about it and I just get tired thinking about it. I'm like, I thought about it. That's my work for the day. Okay, so. Let's see. It keeps doing this to me. The fear factor is the biggest threat to freedom. If you believe there is a threat, that even when there isn't one, people will react. Education is key to have freedom. So
I agree with that. Education is important.
Yeah, I think that's actually important too. Is know your history. Yeah. Be educated about what's going on around you. Don't listen and take just because some quote unquote expert on the news tells you, just because I say something, just because Sean says something, don't take our words for it. Do your own work and figure out
the facts.
Exactly.
They're all out there.
Learn it for yourself. Learn it for yourself. You got to fight for your own information these days. You can't trust just the first thing that you hear. So
that's right.
Halloween was amazing. Over 200 hit our street. It was great to see the families together again. Yes.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're finally catching up on the comments.
Good job.
Sorry, never mind. A bunch more just poured in. Let's see. We are breaking up and freezing. Thanks. I don't think I was supposed to read that. I don't know. We might be having some internet issues here. So if you see any jumping there, it's definitely not because of the because we have some solid wired internet here. I've put a lot of work into it.
I like that. I know you are talking about local issues, but this goes way beyond Estacada. You're absolutely right. I mean, the things that we're facing right now are not just Estacada. They are everywhere. And I think this is something that all cities should look at, is their freedom. The freedom that we have, that we're fighting for right now to keep, is the very freedom that every other city is going to be dealing with at the same time.
There's something I noticed that from the fires and from even before the fires and then after, Estacada sometimes has been the example to some of the other cities.
I agree.
We were the example on response, so much so that we actually had news stations from different countries out here visiting like our relief center and stuff and asking what is it about Estacada that makes it so great. And so this is the chance for Estacadians to step up and to start speaking their mind and show and fight for that freedom that other cities can look to and go, hey, if they can do it, we can do it too.
That's right.
But yeah, there are other small towns all over the place struggling with these same issues.
Yeah, well, it's a cornerstone in our history. If you look around you and the things that are happening, never would I have thought that in my lifetime that I would be facing some of the issues we're facing today. But also in my lifetime, I said, I was going to make the world a better place for my kids. And I can't say that it's been a better place right now than it was when I think somewhere along the line, we've dropped the ball and forgot what it is and what our purpose is.
Exactly. New part of town is crazy. My van is too long to park there. I have the same problem with my truck in some places.
Yeah.
Can we do a live feed from meetings so that we can participate if we cannot make it? We actually do one.
We do have that now. It's a new innovative program that we have where you can zoom in to a live meeting and actually express yourself. And I got to say, it actually looks better than we do. Give up.
Exactly.
I've always said that. I was on the council for 8 years, as you know, and I've been mayor now for 3 terms. And and one of the biggest things, I wake up every morning, I said, I will not give up. I will fight the fight for that freedom that we're very much talking about right now. So never give up, please.
Definitely. Showing what community and loving your neighbor truly mean. That's another statement that was in there.
I love that.
So we need to get rid of the mail-in vote and clear the voting rolls. I can highly agree with
I
that.
can attest to that. Yes, sirree.
I would say write your congressman and your county person for our. The more you get a massive write-in on that, and you show up to some meetings and you start really pressuring them. Hey, maybe it might make a change.
You could change it.
Estacada is showing how to love your community. Yes, that's definitely true.
Yes, we do that on a regular basis.
People leave Portland and come to places like Estacada, bringing the same failed policies with them. Boggles my they come to California because they said they hate the way it is down there. They come to Portland and then they want to make the exact same changes as the Portland. Don't California my Oregon and don't Portland my Estacada.
Just remember, a Starbucks on every corner does not make Estacada a better place. So don't wish for it.
Yes, exactly. The thing is, if you want what Estacada has, come here and enjoy what Estacada is.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't come to a place and then not, if you don't like what they have, then go find a place that does have it.
Yeah,
That's my thing is that I mean, now, does that mean that you shouldn't try to improve the things around you? No. But if you're moving to a place, learn the culture of that place and understand what's there.
That's right. That's right.
And if you don't agree with it, then go to a place that you're going to enjoy. So there's a lot of small towns in the area.
There is.
So, but don't Portland my Estacada. People I already said that. Good golly, this thing keeps jumping backwards. It's hard to fight for little towns when you have the big. I think it's the bug guys. But I think it says the big guys all up in your space, but the little towns all standing together can be as big as the big guys, and keep all the crazy stuff out. We don't want Portland here.
Just remember, those little guys, the louder they speak, the smaller those big guys get. I've learned that. I'm not the most popular mayor, I can tell you right now out there. But the louder I talk, the more they listen. So if you think it doesn't matter, it does matter. So get out there and talk. Talk as much as you want. Sing if you have to, but get the message out there.
Exactly. Let's see what we got here. Continue putting. Local interests have been bad all day. The local internet has been bad all day, which brings up the options we have. That's a conversation in itself. I know that they've tried to improve the internet, but I think having a few options out here might be a good idea. I mean,
And I agree with that.
competition is always a good
It's
thing.
becoming time for that. I mean, like you said, with all the houses coming in, we're going to have to do something to be competitive, right?
How do we get that Kirk guy on city council? Well, you run for it.
That's right.
The next election is in 2022. So, without small towns, big towns will fail. Exactly.
That's right.
Can people outside the city limits zoom into council? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've had people from other states zoom into the
Yeah.
meetings.
Believe me, when I was on the troubled list, everybody from all over the country chimed in. So now that we have the system to accommodate that, yes, if you're outside the city limits, please call in.
Yep. But I'm willing to bring it back if I have the support of the community behind me to show. But I would be willing to bring it back. So
All right. I think we caught up on those
I think we have one more. Don't say. Maybe talk how you tried but got shot down because community didn't back you up. I don't.
I was saying exactly what you just said, was how
Yeah.
you did bring it up.
Yeah.
Has there been talk about extending Estacada proper to get the new housing in the city to help the infrastructure cost?
You know, that's a conversation we may be having in the near future, but I can't really talk about that now. It's more of a council decision. But yeah, I think there's a possibility that could be a conversation at the council.
Yep. And so some of these questions we're going to do the best we can to answer for you, but because I am a city councilor and Sean is the mayor, we can't talk about some of these things, and so we're not avoiding because we don't want to talk about it. It's because we can't. But we can talk about them at a city council meeting. So you're welcome to come bring these questions to city council. You guys are asking them here. Bring in these questions to city council. Put your representatives that are elected there to represent you on the spot and ask them these questions.
Yeah.
You know,
We live for that.
exactly.
I know I've been on the spot a lot of times, and I can tell you, the more people that come into that room, good or bad, I enjoy it because it shows that you're listening.
Exactly. Next comment says no Republican since mail-in ballots. Yeah,
That's right.
that's a
That's
conversation.
right.
That's a
That's
conversation to talk about
Yeah,
there.
I don't think we'll go there, but yeah, you're absolutely right with that one.
Well, yeah, exactly. And if you guys want to see what the leadership under a democratic leadership is, what the leftists, especially some of the crazier leftists, is look at what's happening with Portland. It is in the last couple of years. I think the place has gone to the shit. I mean, you've got homeless trash lining every freeway and road down there. You've got crime through the roof. You've got murders. You've got people scared. Businesses fleeing the city. You got people fleeing the city to move out to places like Estacada here, because the way that they run it is so bad, and they're just destroying it. That is what you have to look forward to. You want to look on a more national level. Let's go, Brandon, right there. That's all I have to say. I mean, look at he's made us a laughing stock. Our president has made us a laughing stock to the world. Has probably one of the worst economies out there. As our borders in crisis. Tried to spend $7 trillion. Made promises left and right, couldn't get them through, and has lied through his teeth about pretty much everything out there.
Yep.
And has even gone to the point where he says, well, they won't let me talk, or they won't let me say this. If he's a president, grow a pair and tell that they work for him and that he's going to say what he wants to say.
That's right.
I mean,
There's no doubt there needs to be a change, people.
oh, definitely.
Politically speaking, there has to be a change. And I think all of you getting out there to vote, especially this next vote, I think will make a difference. So the next time around, please show up at the polls. Make it count. We've got to change this direction. We've got to change this image. I mean, Oregon as a whole has suffered massively. We used to be number one place to live. Now we're like, number 39 or something on the list. And you don't even want to know the list for the homeless. And I saw a thing the other day that talked about pest control. Ortho put out a pest control evaluation of states that were on the list. Guess who's on the list? Portland. With all the homeless issues we're having, we have now the highest population of rats in our city. So that just surprised me. That one blew me away. So
it's crazy.
no, this is not good. Not good at all.
Here's a good example. The Red Fox was set to be purchased by the county, and they were going to basically make it a transitional homeless shelter. And there was a whole bunch of citizens that came out and they spoke up and they let their voices be heard and they stopped it.
Yeah.
And so speak up, because your voices have actions and people do listen when you come in bulk. I do want to point out the link to is for where the city Zoom links are in the description, I believe is what our producers are saying. It's too bad you can't text in your questions during city council meetings. Definitely. I think if you get onto Zoom, you can try to send them in that way.
Yeah.
Gun restrictions don't work. Otherwise, Chicago would be safer than Estacada. You got a good point there. I mean, history shows that. But one of the tactics that the left uses is to try to either change or avoid teaching history, because the more people are educated about history and understand it, and actual real history, not altered history, but a real history, they become more educated, and they don't want to repeat the problems that we're already starting to repeat now.
That's right.
So,
and if there's any consolation, we will protect your Second Amendment right at any cost.
Of course. So that's something that's a hill I will die on for. Is for that. And I've served in the military and I fought for freedoms, and so I went to Afghanistan and I fought the war over there to keep that at bay. And so freedoms mean a lot to me. For whether it's the First or the 10th Amendment, it all means something to me.
That's right.
But
I feel privileged to be sitting here with a man who served for our country.
Definitely. And it's important. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, the 11th of November. And I just read something tonight. Do you know why Veterans Day is on the 11th of November?
I do not.
Because World War I actually ended on November 11th at 11 a.m.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah. So that's November 11th at 11 a.m. That's 11/11 and 11 a.m. So actually, there's a ceremony tomorrow in town at 11 a.m. at the memorial. But I didn't know that. That's actually why we have Veterans Day.
I think PGE has something going on over in Timber Park, and I know we have a breakfast from 7 to 11.
Yep.
At the Oddfellows, right?
At the Oddfellows, yeah.
Okay.
And hey, if some of these questions you might have, feel free to reach out to us. We're actually, I think we're going to the breakfast tomorrow, aren't we?
Yes, we are definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some of that breakfast in the morning. Okay, guys. Well, we are actually up against our time here, so we appreciate everybody's comments, and I think we try to get to all of them. So, and if we did not get to yours, I apologize. Keep asking them though, and we'll do our best to try to answer them. But yes, we hope that you guys can step up, speak out your mind. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Get it out there. Not talking about on Facebook. I'm talking about show up to meetings, write letters, make phone calls, get your voice out there. Right. Arrange a chance to come out and have a meeting with a whole bunch of other like-minded fellows right in front of the city hall there.
I agree.
That's happened before. There's lots of things you can do to get your voice out there. And just make sure that you're peaceful and you're legal when you do it too.
That's right.
Yeah. So I appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and I appreciate having our fantastic special guest host, Sean.
I appreciate being invited. And remember, I am the mayor who does. So if you're out in the city and you see me, feel free to walk up and ask me any question you have. And I will try to answer it to the best of my ability at any given time. So thank you.
Definitely. Thanks, you guys. And we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. And until then, have a good, safe week.
And that's an out for all of us. We appreciate you tonight. Thank you.
Yep.
Doggy.